Our first story of the day is coming straight out of MLR. It's USA Rugby News, and this is a big one. I wasn't sure whether to start with this or not, but once I started reading the Facebook comments, absolutely had to get started with it, and that is the rebranding of Rugby ATL. Now, I really didn't even think that much about it because honestly, I'm not a big fan of Atlanta. I'm from Louisiana. I'm a New Orleans fan. I'm from Baton Rouge, but a New Orleans fan. And New Orleans is a natural rival of Atlanta. We're basically the same thing. I consider Atlanta to be fake New Orleans, but that's just me. That being said, I did not expect for a rebrand, and I remember seeing it, and I didn't think anything of it until I started looking at the comments. And that's whenever it got for real. Like, that's when it got serious because everybody hated the rebrand. And basically what had happened is Rugby ATL changed up their logo. They went from the black, red, gray that they typically have had for the last, 3 years, to a much more, we can say, shirt modern version, which is a green and blue and pink. It's kind of like rainbow color with the green. I don't know exactly where they got the green from. I think the rainbow colors to be more inclusive. And then they kind of went with a stylized A for Atlanta and then established 2019. Obviously, I'm going to put the video. If you guys want to take a look, I'm going to put the links inside the description. And then if you're looking at the video, obviously, you're seeing it. But I mean, it's a shirt logo, I mean, to say the least. But, man, when you talk about the backlash that's gotten from it, it is massive. I don't think there was one comment that was a positive. And I think the basic premise that I took from this is, this doesn't represent Atlanta, and why the heck did you not talk to us about it? And the president for Atlanta, Rugby Atlanta, Amanda Winter, basically wrote out a whole letter apologizing and basically saying like they should have talked to the fans, and they want to just be more, Atlanta, to say the least, I guess, whatever. And then they did a Facebook Live. I definitely did not watch a Facebook Live. I do not care about Rugby Atlanta that much. But, again, it doesn't seem like it went over very well. From my opinion, I'm not going to lie, the first thing that I saw was the video that they made. And the video I thought was great. Like, I think it's a great marketing video. It's very modern. It's very up-to-date. And for what it's worth, it was a good look. Overall, I don't know if people are going to really like my opinion on it, but, I'm happy Atlanta did this. Like, this is a good move. Like, for what it's worth, it was a good move. I mean, everybody hates it. Don't get me wrong. And the colors are hideous. And I love someone made a great comment that the Rugby ATL colors are basically the same as the Chicago Hounds colors, as if there's like a trend of evergreen green that's happening and everybody just wants to kind of follow that like trend. I don't know why green is now the color to go with, but I like the fact that Rugby ATL took a risk. I mean, again, not all risks have to work, but I'm glad they took a risk. Whenever they created the video, shout out to Freddie Ajudwa, who was on episode 24 for Rugby Swag. Go check him out. Was one of the front models for the Rugby ATL video. But I'm glad that somebody is trying to make rugby, connect with its city. And again, not to say that it passed, but I saw what they were trying to do. Now, a lot of people within the rugby community who make up the core fans of Rugby Atlanta hated it. Obviously, red and black has been the symbolic color of Atlanta for God knows how long. I mean, the Braves have those colors. Atlanta Falcons have those colors. I'm pretty sure their MLS team has those colors. So setting aside from the black and red, or the gray and red, really the black and red that they have going on, I thought it's because Georgia really is a red state in all formats. Like, it's a red state. So the need to have some kind of positioning with that I think is always necessary. But I think it's important that people in rugby are willing to take risks. Now, here's another thing that I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on, and it's the amount of fan base input that is needed. I think in this situation, you probably could have at least surveyed a little bit more. You know, you got to do your market research with your base. I'm not saying that you have to go with what they say, because I've seen already in rugby the number of times that fan base has made a decision, and I'm not gonna lie, like when they go with a fan base voted decision, I've hated the result almost every single time. I think shout out, Premier Rugby Sevens, great, and actually really good product, really great product in my opinion. But I hate every single one of their names, and every single one of the team names are fan based created. I get including a fan base, but my God, sometimes the people are not correct. Customers are not always right. But in this situation, they probably could have played around a little bit with it, just because it's not so much that the logo itself needed to be maintained, but things like the colors and what they resonate, especially in a state like Georgia and a city like Atlanta. You have a lot of interactions that need to elicit emotions, and colors elicit emotions. So I will say that they dropped the ball on that one. But in terms of like the entire rollout that they were going for, I can see where they're going. It was a little Calvin Klein-y for me, but they were trying to make a brand that is utilizable for casual wear as well. Like it's clearly they were trying to utilize it for casual wear. And Atlanta, of all places, is a hub of culture in the U.S. right now. It is not the hub of one set of culture. It is an urban hub, a pop hub. It is a media hub, an entertainment hub. Like, it is a center for entertainment. So I get where they're going with it, but this is kind of an example. They might have outthought the room a little bit with it. And, I do enjoy Atlanta being embarrassed. Like, it is a specific pleasure of mine for the city of Atlanta to be embarrassed a lot. Fake New Orleans. But in this situation, I always like at least people making the risk to push it forward. If I was Atlanta, if I'm Rugby Atlanta at this point, you guys have done everything you're supposed to do in terms of your digital. You've tried to. You talk to the people. I would go back, look at this within a year, because the other thing about it is everything that we hate up front typically is because it makes us uncomfortable. And again, I'm not saying that the fan base is wrong. I do think that there is a legitimate issue that comes whenever you have such a heavy backlash. It can ripple effect, but it's a logo. If you play well on the field, you go. I don't think green is the greatest in the world, and they're kind of soft colors in my opinion. But you need to give it a year. Obviously, you got to give it a year. You've bought merch. You clearly have done banners and signs and all these stuff to be able to push a marketing rollout, plus the video. Have no doubt that you spent tens of thousands of dollars on this rollout with an intent to try and connect the city into the rest of the rugby community. And I am 100% here for it. This is what I go for it. From the fan base side, wait it out. Like, if your team's winning, then go. If your team starts losing with these colors, now you have a real argument. But it just reminds me so much of what we would do whenever Facebook would change their layout. And whether people will complain and say that the layout was better previously to what it is now is to be determined. The key component is most people just got used to it. I mean, every layout changes. Everything always has to have a change. And when it comes to rugby, you have to be willing to do things that make people uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable with it. So, I give credit to Atlanta for Rugby ATL for pulling that off and failing to get the initial reaction. But we're not talking about trying to do things for the short term. You got to look down the line. Fan base wise, you guys now have a reason to leverage wins out of ATL. So you can't have a year like you did in 2021 and 2022. 2023, you guys got to get to a championship. That's the only way these colors are going to stick. Like, you got to put it to your good luck charm. So more power to you on that one. All right? More power to you on that one. Go NOLA Gold. More power to you on that one. Oh, man. I love good controversy. What can I say?
For a while I lost my smile, but they still couldn't steal my style. Now they're never gonna bring me down.